Hey, Jess, how are you?
I am so good, thank you. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good, good. Happy Star Trek Day. We're recording this on September 8th here in the
Yes.
U.S. It's Star Trek Day.
Yeah. It's September 9th for me here in Australia, so I've already celebrated,
You
but
were
happy
up
to have
late
it 2 days in a row.
partying hard for Star Trek Day, I know.
That's it.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Now, we met at Star Trek Las Vegas and
Yes.
a few weeks ago. Did you fly up just for the convention?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that's kind of part of the gig for me. I mean, I live on the other side of the world, and so when I have conventions to attend, it's a kind of a big trip. but
I was going to say.
Yeah, but I love it. It's great. I have amazing frequent flyer status. I get access to all the lounges.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it's if you're an Australian actor,
That's kind of it.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Everyone in Australia is used to, like, if you want to go anywhere, it's a minimum of 12 hours.
I've never been to Australia.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Australia, but it's the flight. I can't be on the flight that long. If I'm going to go, I'm just going to live there. Like, I'm not coming back. I can't do the flight to and from. Like, I
No,
just
it's great. You like, I don't know. I'm of the mind that, like, if it's under 8 hours, that's more annoying to me than a long flight.
because you
I'm
can't
like,
settle
well,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love a long train ride. I love a long flight. You get in there, you get set up, you pick your three movies that you're gonna watch back to back.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to go to LA in a couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm already dreading that flight. It's going to be 3 hours. I'm already stressing. What am I going to watch? That whole thing. But
Oh no, what are you gonna watch?
I don't know. I'm watching Alone right now. Have you seen that show?
It's a reality TV show, right?
Wait,
Oh.
actually, I'm sorry. Alone is reality TV. I'm watching From. That's what I'm watching. It's like
Oh,
Lost.
I've got a friend. I've got a friend in that.
It's
I haven't watched
great.
it yet.
I love the
It
show.
looks awesome.
Uh,
Do you like animation?
I do. I love animation.
Have you watched the last thing I watched on a plane? That blew my mind was Scavenger's Reign. Have you seen it?
No, I'm gonna.
Oh
put it
my
on
god, I'm
list.
so excited for you! It is the most beautiful animation I've ever seen. So moving.
On
It's
it.
sci-fi. It's a sci-fi. The score is unbelievable. It's so imaginative. It's so horrifying. It's so tender. It's all of the things.
It looks
Must.
really good just by looking at the little thumbnails. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Now, before I start geeking out about Star Trek, how long have you been
Yeah.
acting?
How long have I been acting? I guess I started when I was like 22. I'm now
Okay.
32. So what's that? 10 years.
I would have guessed you're still 22. I didn't know you were in your 30s. I would never
Oh
have guessed.
shucks.
Yeah.
You can stay. We can hang
All
out.
right. We're friends.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but it's something that it wasn't always the thing. It wasn't always my thing. Like
Yeah.
I grew up deeply committed to visual arts, so that has been something that's been in me since I was a kid. And acting kind of blossomed for me a little bit later on.
Visual arts. So you're talking photography. You have a photography channel, right? Or Instagram as well.
Yeah, so I mean, the, in terms of my art practice, my past is more in painting and sculpture.
Really? Did not know that.
So
Wow.
so I was a painter for 10 years, and then I moved into kind of like immersive multimedia installations.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with the visuals, the whole like the lighting. I have a friend in that.
Yeah, with like physical elements, digital elements, sound elements. So that's kind of what I am currently doing. I'm just about to exhibit a piece in New York.
Now, before you got the role as Nurse Chapel, which by the way, you do a fantastic job. One of my favorite characters on the show, Strange New Worlds.
Thank you so much.
Were you a Star Trek fan before you got the role?
I was not. No.
Okay.
Sci-fi is something that has come to me through Star Trek.
Okay.
So through my job, yeah. And I'm a huge fan of sci-fi, and Star Trek more. Star Trek itself. Yeah. I mean, I was aware of it as a cultural phenomenon.
Sure. Yeah.
but I didn't really know that much about it. When I booked the role, all of these Trekkies in my community and my family emerged.
These closeted Trekkies, yeah.
Yeah, like they were all around me, and I just didn't know until I booked the job and became a part of the community. as a result.
Now, how do you prepare for a role like that? So you get the job as Nurse Chapel. Gene Roddenberry's wife on the original series played Nurse Chapel, and so you have that sort of content to go through to try to figure out who this person was and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you go that deep? Did you watch the original series or?
Yeah. So I watched Major's performance. I watched the original series. I also because there wasn't that much recorded material. That she's prominent in the show, but there's not a lot of Nurse Chapel. So I also kind of just like, I think my preparation went more into like understanding who she was behind the scenes, like the way that she like kind of snuck back in to the cast after being cut. Like this, like I kind of loved that aspect of who Major was, and I think that definitely came into my research. Also, just understanding Star Trek more broadly as like where it fits in the cultural context, its impact socially, that kind of thing, and just a lot of conversations with Akiva, the showrunner, about what he envisioned for the character and how much license he wanted me to take creatively. And it's been in like kind of an ongoing process.
So you've been really you're filling in the gaps and creating the backstory really yourself, essentially, based off of the little crumbs of things that you know about the character.
Exactly. Yeah. And in collaboration with the writers, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, going back and watching the original series, we're talking 50 plus years later. We're the younger generation watching this show. What did you think, never really kind of paying attention to it growing up? What did you think watching it all these years later?
Oh, what did I think watching it all these years later?
Let me ask you, what stood out to you watching the show? That'd probably be an easier question to answer.
Oh.
Because I got one. I'll help you. I'll tell you what mine was when I watched it.
Yeah, please go. Yeah.
Was it, obviously they didn't have a big budget, the effects, all that kind of thing. Actors sometimes were a little, wasn't the greatest, right? But
how dare you?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, for me, what stood out was the writing. The writing, these shows were so good that it didn't matter that the robot, the alien was a cardboard box. It didn't matter because it was about the writing, the moral dilemmas. What's the right thing to do in this situation? This guy dies or this guy dies. What do you do so that's what really stuck out to me, because I was a kid. I knew Star Trek was around. I had like some Star Trek toys, I'm sure, but I didn't really know what it was. I didn't really know until my 20s really what it was, because they started airing the reruns on TV. And that's kind of when I fell in love with the show and really started to kind of research it. So that's what stood out for me. So I don't know if that helps you with your answer.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the thing that stood out to me, that definitely stands out to me, like the fact that they didn't shy away from really deep, complex social issues from the jump. Definitely a very unique characteristic of this franchise from the get-go. I think also, like, because my background is in visual art, what really delighted me about the early series and the movies was like just the imaginative power of the team. You can see they're just like reaching for these giant ideas and being so creative with how to achieve scale, how to achieve like these completely imagined worlds.
Yeah. With a limited budget too, which is so crazy.
Yeah. That was so delightful to me, like so beautiful and so aspirational and hopeful, was like seeing these sets that were just like created with like poking holes in pieces of cardboard.
Right.
And, so cool as like a design and like visual, like a design focused person. That to me was like a very beautiful part, just to give you like a different point, like a different perspective from what you noticed. Might be a cool like juxtaposition.
Yeah. Now, after the Star Trek convention, I noticed like Tawny Newsome posted on her Instagram story. It was like a dinner that all you guys got together, and what I noticed, at least for the background, is like it seemed like all the TV shows had their own table, like Voyager's over here and this person here, and I'm like, are there Star Trek cliques? Like, are the shows like do you guys like walk down the hallway and like, oh, there's a lower dweebs, or whatever? Do you do something like that? The deep space geeks or what? I don't know. Do y'all have rivalries between the shows, or is it pretty well? I know it's a stupid question, but I just thought it was funny because it looked like Voyager was here and Deep Space Nine was here and you guys were here. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. I'm like, what? It's like a Star Trek high school.
Yeah, whenever we get together, we fight in the parking lot.
That's what I thought. Yeah, whatever the best show wins.
Absolutely not. It's like, this is one of the things that I feel so, like, makes me feel so blessed about where I've landed in my life, in terms of being a part of this franchise. It's like Vegas, the Vegas convention is like where we all get together. We get to see each other all at the same time. And like that happens once a year. Like we do different conventions around the world, and you might see 2 or 3 people from different shows. But the Vegas one is just like everybody's there. It's like summer camp. It's like Trek summer camp. And we're all staying in the same the same casino, like, you know, and we all get along like a house on fire. Like I have made so many wonderful friends. And I feel so blessed to have been able to connect with artists who are a lot older than me, like a lot further along in their career, and being able to like see a version of life where the arts is always present and always like bountiful and focused upon, like with someone who's like at a different stage of life. Yeah. So we all get along. I haven't met anyone that I don't like in the Star Trek family. It's really cool. Season
3 is in the can. You guys shot it. Comes out, they said, sometime next year. So
yeah, they don't tell us anything, so I can't help you with that.
Well, what can you tell us about season 3 that won't get you in trouble? Like as far as, you know, is it bigger? Or you should watch it. Yes, it's great. That kind of thing.
What can I tell you that's vague enough? I think the writers have really noticed what is unique about this show.
Okay.
And taken it as far as possible.
I like that.
It was so much fun to shoot. Like, we have so much fun on set, especially in this season. And it keeps amping up and up and up and up. That's
the next show I'm thinking now, you know, when you're talking about you guys hanging out in Vegas and everyone's getting along in this, you know, the shows are kind of mixing. It's like a big family. What if you do like Star Trek Big Brother? And it's just like, you know, you guys are all in a mansion and, you know, I think that'd be fun. That's a great show.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll pitch it I'll pitch it to Metalis or something next time I see him.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
So how does it feel having, you know, here you are an artist in Australia, you know, acting probably really wasn't on your radar when you were younger, right? You were just more about creating and the visuals and things like that, right? You weren't always wanting to be an actor, right?
No. It was something that I've always been curious about, but like I only started to investigate in my early 20s. Yeah. So
here you are doing it. Now you're on, you know, one of the biggest franchises in the world. And now you have your own action figure from
I know. I've been trying to get my hands on that for so long.
Isn't that incredible? Like
honestly, that was the craziest moment for me in this entire 4-year span that I've been a part of the franchise. I'm like, all the crazy stuff I do at work, sure. All the ways my life has changed. Like the moment that I saw that there was an action figure of me, I like cried. I was like, what is happening?
And not like a little cheap like Mattel action figure, like a really detailed, this looks like a mini version of the character. Like it's incredible. I saw that. I'm like, good for her.
Oh, that was wild. That was the wildest moment of them all.
Now,
I was like, how did I get here?
Yeah, exactly. Is this real? Now you're a creative, you know, you dress up for, you know, TV and all that stuff. You kind of have to dress up for a living now. Does that ruin Halloween for you? Because Halloween's coming up, and I don't know if does that ruin, like, I got to come up with a costume? Or you like...
Absolutely not.
Do you already have your Halloween picked out? Your Halloween costume picked out?
You know what? I haven't worked it out yet, but I'm going to be in New York for Halloween, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've always been very committed to the costume. Costume parties get me so excited, and I also get really annoyed when other people don't go hard.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you're ruining it for the rest of us.
Right.
Like, stop being nonchalant. Like, lean in. Let's go.
We're talking about plane shows to watch on the planes, a movie to watch on the plane. What are you watching now that I should also, other than Scavenger's Reign, what are you watching now that I could add to my list?
Oh my goodness. I'm kind of, you know what? I'm kind of a person who sometimes just loves to go back and rewatch something really familiar and nostalgic to me. I am simultaneously rewatching Lost.
Oh, Lost. So, which is, by the way, just like they're basically sister shows.
Okay,
so,
that's good to know.
And I think two of the producers from Lost are like the showrunners for From. Don't quote me on that, but there's some, and the main character is Michael from Lost. So it's a great show.
Of course. Oh my God, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Lost for me was the first show like when I was younger, because I was pretty young when that came out. That I got absolutely obsessed with.
Yep.
And it was before streaming. I bought all the box sets for the DVDs and like the cliffhangers that they would leave you on every week.
Yep. You feel like you're going to have a heart attack?
Oh my God. It destroyed me in the best way. So it's been like that has just been added to Netflix in Australia. And I saw that come up and was like, oh, we're going in. Yeah. We're going back.
I've told myself.
So good.
So I bought the Blu-rays, right? The special edition, like this whole thing went a long time ago when it was out, because I love the show too. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I've told myself I'm going to rewatch it and then go back and watch, because at the end they had like an alternate ending. And I don't remember that on the DVD set. I've never seen it, but I told myself I reward myself by watching the entire thing and then watching that alternate ending. And
oh my God,
I just never got around to doing that. But you should do it. Go look it up. I think it's on YouTube or something.
What's it been, like 15 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so my cousin's a big fan. He told me that it's really like not that big of a deal. But I'm like, no, it is a big deal. Like, I want to know this alternate ending. I thought I've seen every piece of Lost and I haven't. So at some point I need to go back and watch. That's a great, well, maybe you don't want to watch that on plane.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So maybe that's not a good plane show. I'll watch that in a hotel. Yeah. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. On solid ground.
There you go.
Watching that on solid ground.
Yeah.
So I've been watching that, and I've also been rewatching Orange is the New Black, because that show's just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, Jess, it's been a pleasure. I know it's morning there. Do you happen to have a place where we can follow you and keep up on all your stuff, whether it's Star Trek, your art? Where do we find you at?
For sure. My Instagram handle is OneJessa, so ONEJESSA. That's my visual arts handle.
Okay.
But through that page, like in my bio, you can get onto my jewelry label page.
You have jewelry too? Wow.
Yeah. So I make jewelry as an offshoot of one of my biggest like installation projects. And you can get to my photography too, but that's more of just like a personal thing. That's not like, I don't know. That's just something I do because my memory is terrible and I need to keep a diary.
Hey, you know what though? That's so great. I'm going to follow all of them because I'm so interested in. I mean, I love art and probably not as talented as you are, but I like to watch other people's stuff and see what they're doing, and I think it's cool. I wish I could do what you guys do, but I can't.
Oh, that's very kind. That's very kind.
You signed this for us when we were in Vegas, and so since you gave us an autograph, now I was on, not to brag, but I was also on TV. I broke my leg on a scooter accident, and it was back in I don't know, a few years ago. But we were on Judge Steve Harvey.
What's that?
It's Steve. You know who Steve Harvey is, right? Do you have him in?
No.
So he's a big comedian here in America. He has a judge show on ABC. And we were on TV, and this was an X-ray that he held of my broken leg. And so I'm going to sign this for you. And then next time I see you somewhere, I'll hand this to you. You can frame it or do whatever. You can put it to, whatever you want to do. You can do that. That's for you. So
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Cool, weird thing.
Yeah, I know. I figured since you're an artist, how cool is that? You have an X-ray. It got on TV though. I literally had to break a leg to get on TV. So that's what happened.
You literally broke a leg.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Well, Jess, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And make sure you check her out on Strange New Worlds coming out next year.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.